What's going on, y'all? You know who it is. It is Mr. Campbell, HBCU watch party for the Howard Bison against UMBC. Man, we're going to have a little watch party, going to support the Howard Bison, have a good time. I'm going to be joined with Hbcu a little bit later, getting you started, man. Listen, we're going to have a good time, man. A super excited first four game, Dayton, Ohio, Howard, MEAC champions versus UMBC, the champions. Oh, let's see what that conference is. I had it right up here. I think this is the American East Conference. Champions of the American East Conference. Man, really close game. Got UMBC favored by 1 point, 1.5. Think it's going to be a really great game, but I'm looking for the Ohio Bison to pull up. So, man, listen, pull up a chair, man. As you say, this ain't sipping on Sunday, but we're going to sip on a little bit on Tuesday. Pull up a chair. We're going to be showing a little bit of the game. We're going to try to work around that, have it on a little small screen, and when the big play comes up, we're going to pull it up. And like I said, make sure that the Pirates don't get us, the big folks don't shut us down. But we're going to have a good time. And then after that, man, you roll right on into HBC Coaches Corner, who we have a coach, Van Malone from Hampton, the Hampton Pirates. So listen, we got Fly Gray Streak in the house. Listen, we're going to have a good time, man. We'll have a good old watch party, support these Howard Bison. Come on in, enjoy yourself. Get you some food. It's dinner time. Get the kids settled. Hey, Miss March, man, this is what it's all about. Here to have a good time. And not going to be here for a long time. But, just join in. And like I say, get ready to enjoy the show. Shout out to little baby. Rattlers are in the building. So really excited about this. Really excited about this game. Like I say, what I've heard, again, talking to her, if you didn't see a great show last night, Sipping on Sundays on a Monday, had Herb on, and listened to a lot of the pundits. Great chance for Prairie View and Howard to get out of the first four and to get into the big bracket. Again, a lot of money. A lot of people don't like these first four games, but we're going to pull up and talk about some of the economics about that a little bit later. How these first four games do actually work out for a conference like the SWAC and the MEAC, and how much money we can make by winning these games. And we have been successful in these first four games. So looking to talk about that, look about how much money we can make, and also what can our programs do to be better where we can get a 12 seed, where 12 seeds are made runs in this tournament. You've got Tennessee State that's got a 15 seed playing Iowa State. Listen, that's not going to be an easy game for Iowa State. Tennessee State's going to come in there well prepared. Nolan Smith, who's a national champion, who's coached a national championship team with Coach K. Really looking to see what those guys are going to do with Tennessee State. So, like I say, a lot of HBCUs playing. Of course, the ladies start a little bit later. We'll be talking about the Southern Jaguars, the Lady Jaguars. They play in the first four games. We'll talk about them, too. Really excited about what they're going to do. I believe they play Lehigh, which, again, they probably had an advantage in that game. So, hey, listen. Hey, man, listen. Swag fan, we gonna hold it. We're holding it down, man. We are going to hold it down. And, we always appreciate you. And like I say, Herb will be, there he is. Herb will be up in a few seconds. But like I said, appreciate it and everything. But, yeah, man, we're going to have a good time. Like I said, we've got some good stats, man. Excited to have Herb. I'm going to have to call him the dean of HBCU college basketball. I got to give him a title now. You know what I'm saying? The dean of college, HBCU college basketball. Matter of fact, let's go on and bring Herb up to the stage. There he is. HBCU Weekly. My new partner in crime. They don't like it. They don't like this dynamic duo. We meet too many times.
Hey, man, we in here, man. Hoops is hoops. Yeah,
what's going on, Herb?
Yeah, my boy. Yeah, they got me on consignment on loan from kind of like how they do in soccer. Got me on loan from HBCU Nightly.
Hey, man, listen, we appreciate you, man. Like I said, you bring a lot of knowledge and, again, just good information for a lot of people to know. And, again, we are on the Off Script channel. We are on the Rocky Mill channel, home at HBCU Coaches Corner. Mr. Campbell running the show, and my man Herb that's going to be taking us, giving us the color. So, Herb, let's get right on in it because the game is going to kick off in about 6 minutes. I tell you what, why don't you tell people about some of the players of Howard who we need to look for? I know Howard has a player of the year. Like I say, they're on a win streak. Hey, we just had Kenny Blakely who just talking about, I saw him in an interview and say this is the healthiest he's had at Howard University. Bison, let's talk about him. Who we need to watch, Herb, in this game for Howard.
Man, this is going to be a good game, man, for real. I got a chance to watch UMBC in that America East championship game against Vermont. And they got some firepower, man. They got this one dude. Yeah, well, they've got a really strong guard rotation. The one guy that I'm talking about, whose name escapes me, went stupid in that game. He went for 30. But as it relates to Howard, man, I think Howard's starting five averages double figures. And the two biggest offensive weapons in that starting five, Bryce Harper, MEAC Player of the Year, and Cedric Taylor III, who's a MEAC Newcomer of the Year and a MEAC Defensive Player of the Year. He's transferred from D2 transfer from Morehouse. And essentially, that's a good question, SWAC fans, man. The unit that teams get when they win an NCAA tournament game normally calculates out to like $21 million over 5 years, which is effectively $355,000 a year.
Well, Herb, I tell you what, we're gonna, you know what, we're not gonna guess because we can't prepare because we got Herb Hbcu Hoop Weekly, Mr. Campbell. You know how we do it. HBCU Coaches Corner, off script channel. So you know what, Swag fan, this is one of the things most important since we're gonna go to that, since you move Herb to that, but we do want to get back to the players because they're gonna get started. But I'm just gonna answer your question because you've always been good to us. So let me just share my screen to really talk about it. And shout out to Pete Thamel who broke this down and why this is so important to both the MEAC and the SWAC. So Pete Thamel broke it down and we're gonna pull it up here on the screen right now, so you guys can kind of see that. So this is basically, guys, what the breakdown is, and it goes in units. Hopefully you can kind of break up, and I'll make it a little bit bigger. So like he said, big night for the conference's office of the MEAC and American East, UMBC, and the SWAC, Prairie View, and the Patriot League. Winners get an additional $2.1 million as a unit value, expected to be approximately $355,000 annually for 6 years. So basically, whoever wins this game is worth $2.1 million, but they're getting paid out over 6 years. So basically, this is a $2 million payday for the winner. So that's a really big thing, and that's the reason why a lot of the conferences are not mad about when we get to this first 4 game, because we have been able to, and you guys know this, we have been able to win this first 4 game. Grambling has done it. Alabama State has done it. Texas Southern has done it. We have seen us come out the first 4 game, win it, and again get the conference $2.1 million.
Yeah, and I want to stress this, man. What Pete put up there, that's in addition to the regular unit. So, like Alabama State last year won and won a unit for the SWAC. The SWAC's still getting paid for that money.
Correct.
They're still getting paid, off of that win, and will be for the next 3 years. So, this is big. This is big time stuff, man. And for the people out there that are like, well, the first 4 ain't the real tournament, man, forget all that. Money is money. Tournament wins are tournament wins. That goes against a record. So, the way that can work in our favor, especially whenever, we have conferences like the America East, the MEAC, the SWAC, the Patriot in a lot of cases, the OVC in some cases, that have those net ratings that you can't necessarily dig out of unless the conference really, really grows. Is this kind of levels out the playing field a little bit. So
there you go, Herb. I don't want to cut you off, but there you go. So the initial, just to make the tournament, you get $2 million that goes to the conference. So initial $2 million, and then for each additional win, you get another $2 million. So basically, to your point, and to add on to it, so when we won, we brought in, and I said we as HBCUs for the MEAC and the SWAC bring in basically $4 million into the conference, which the team gets a portion of that, and then the conference splits it and then distributes that back out to each of the conference members. So again, big important game. So $2 million just to get to the tournament, $2.1 million when you win each game. So that's why I wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
So Herb, go back to your 2 guys that you were talking about with Howard before we get started. You said you wanted where we should be looking at.
But yeah, like I was saying, man, I want to focus in particular on Cedric Taylor III. Guy, in my opinion, outside of Dante Harris or Tennessee State, was probably the biggest impact transfer that any HBCU at the D1 level got out of the portal. He just changes the entire dynamic of how Howard plays defense. He's super versatile. I like to call Taylor the HBCU Swiss Army knife, because he can do it all, man. He's got guard skills at 6'7", 6'8". He's got a really, really long wingspan. he can guard up to 4 positions on the floor. So he can guard 1 through 4. And, in that MEAC championship game against North Carolina Central, man, he impacted the game, controlled the game in the second half for long stretches without even scoring the basketball. He averages 17 points a game along with Bryce Harris. But in that game, he did it without scoring. He did it on the defensive end. He did it on the glass. He did it quite literally every way you can think about it. And, the reality is that, his versatility is probably going to be really big tonight against UMBC. If you ever seen UMBC, those guys, they shoot the leather off the ball, man, for real. I think their collective team 3-point shooting is right around 37%. And, they got some marksmen on there. They got some really, really offensively talented guards that when the shot clock's running down and late in possessions, they can create their own shot. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge for the Bison defensively. Now, conversely, I think the Bison defensively is probably the best defensive team that UMBC is going to face. Has faced to this point in the season. Especially down the stretch of the season, those later stretches of the season this past year. They just shut teams down. What they did, ending the regular season and going through the MEAC tournament, man, they shut down some really, really, really impressive offensive schemes and offensive players. And I want people to know this, man, too, about the Bison. The Bison have a 10-7, out of conference record. 10-7. And if you look at their out of conference record, man, they ain't playing no bunnies either. They play, a lot of comparable mid-major conferences. They got some, they had a couple of wins over some Group of 4 and Power 4 opponents as well. So, this is going to be great, man. I'm excited, man. This is my time of the month.
So let me tell you guys just kind of what we're doing is. So if you're watching on TV, you're probably going to be well ahead. This is a little bit of a stream that we're going to do. Talk to my people. We're going to try to show bits and pieces of the game. We don't want the feed to get down. So if a commercial break comes on, we're going to stop it and everything. So we just want to kind of give you a feel and everything, kind of monitor the score. So you might make the screen big or small just to, give us a feel for the game. Right now, UMBC actually scored a point. Again, we're a little bit behind on this feed that I got up right now. But just kind of looking at it. But one of the things I looked at, you're talking about Howard, which is the better defensive team of the two. UMBC, better offensive team of the two. But one of the things that I've read that I like to see that Howard has last 6-7 games have added 7-8 points. So kind of picked up the point, kind of gotten a little bit into it. UMBC has won 12 straight. So like I say, a very seasoned team. So again, very evenly matched.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, I thought the NCAA, showed a little bit of a sense of humor about putting these guys together. They're both from the DC Metro Baltimore area corridor. And the reality is that we don't get a chance to see these two schools in particular face off against each other often. So this is, a really interesting dynamic here. I think they're really evenly matched, I think depth is a wash for both. I think both are really deep teams in their own way. I think the advantage in the backcourt is I would slightly give it to the Retrievers, simply because they've got some really, really dynamic guards. I think dude just dropped a 3
Cedric
here.
Taylor III.
Yeah.
Getting at the line. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be, again, the key for the Bison to see how they handle those guards defensively, how they, when particularly in half court, when, play breaks down and the offensive set breaks down, how they can, just contain those guards. Because I think that's something that's going to be really a big issue. Conversely, I think UMBC is going to have a problem on the block. I think Howard has the advantage there. Howard, averages close to 40 rebounds a game, collectively, defensively, and offensively. They led the MEAC by a large margin doing that. So I think, that's going to be a really big advantage for them in the post. And for one of the things for this UMBC team, they're really thin in the post. They don't have a lot of depth there, and I think we do. As in Howard. So that's going to be really, really interesting to see how this plays out. Cedric Taylor, man. Like I said, that dude's a dog. He's
Shout out to Atlanta, Georgia. Cedric
yeah,
Taylor.
man. We knew he was a dog when they faced off against Howard, who was at Morehouse last year, before he transferred up. Oh man, that's a good block.
That was a beautiful block because they were beat. They did a 2-2-1 press, and the guy got beat in the back end and came back and recovered.
Yeah, man. And that's the other thing too, is that at times, man, Howard's defensive prowess has been, they've been stifling at times, particularly when they decide to extend the pressure, to 3/4 court, full court traps. They start trapping out of half court. And like I said, there's that guy again, Cedric Taylor III. That dude is as good, as important as Bryce Harris is to this team. Cedric Taylor III gives them, a dynamic that Kenny Blakeney has very rarely had since he's been there in terms of recruiting. And that's like a two-way player that plays multiple positions and can create offensively. He's legit somebody that you could drop into any conference or any roster and he'll make that type of impact. And the fact that he matriculated through HBCU ranks is that's even sweeter in my opinion. Ball rotation's good.
Right now.
Mr. Okoji with another drive. That's and like I said, man, the thing with this Howard University squad that's different from last year is they have multiple offensive options that could put it on the floor in a pitch, particularly again when the play breaks down and the offensive set kind of stalls. They have multiple folks that can put it on the floor, get to the rim, and more importantly, either they finish at the rim, or draw a foul or both. And in this case, Okoji, who's I think he's the most improved player on the Howard University roster. If you ask any Howard University fan that has followed them over the course of his career, yeah, they're employing this really, really good trap. The question is whether they break the trap, how they get back in transition. They've done a good job so far.
Hey man, Howard up early, 7-4, and that's a good sign. That's one of the things we've seen these games. We've seen HBCUs get in here. Sometimes they'll be a little bit shell shocked. Not this Howard team who has been to the tournament last couple of years with Kenny Blakeney and things like that. But I like to start it for Howard.
Well, I think the big thing with this squad for Howard is that they're battle tested. What I mean by that is that they've got a lot of cats on the roster that have been in this position before. I know Koji's been in the first 4 game before. Cedric Taylor, even though this is his first level of Division I exposure, he's been to the Division II playoffs with Morehouse. Cam Gillis, he's been there before in his prior location where he transferred from. I believe that was Canisius, if I'm not mistaken. And they've got a really deep roster full of experienced cats. So they're not going to be shell shocked by the moment here. So now this is a little side note in terms of the storyline for this game. UMBC, had a little travel snafu leaving the DC metro area.
Right, I did see that, and they let everybody know it too.
Yeah, they've been chirping. Their fan base and everybody been kind of chirping online in regards to that. Now, this is another thing that's going to be really, really key: shot selection. Shot selection for Howard has got to, they've got to be able to get shots within the flow of the offense, because this UMBC squad is way too good offensively just to have empty possessions and have them come back down. Yeah, this is like I said. This
Yeah,
is shaping up.
let me tell you something. You're going because, like I said, I'm a little bit ahead, but again, I can get foreshadow. There's a guard on the team for UMBC, DJ Armstrong, and if you guys remember him, his
Yeah,
father played in league for Orlando Matt and he played with Fairfield State, I believe. Daryl Armstrong did. Am I correct about that, Herb?
that is correct. Yeah,
There you go. So there's another HBCU tie right there.
yeah,
So that's what you're going to see.
he's in the Fayetteville State Sports Basketball Hall of Fame. Now, this is the thing right here is once the play breaks down, the ability of UMBC's guards to get downhill and get to the rim is really, really important. Like I said, Howard's going to have to kind of keep a handle on that, man. And like I said, DJ Armstrong was the guy that I mentioned earlier. Thank you for that. That went stupid in the American East Championship game for 30 plus points. So, he's a walk. He's a walk
play right here. You're going to see what I just talked about because we're a little bit.
Yeah.
Armstrong off the bounce. Oh, he nets a triple.
Armstrong is ridiculous, man. That dude was stupid in the American East game.
7 of 9.
He's going to be a problem.
That last game that they played from the 3-point line.
Retrievers 2 of 5 from outside in the early going. Harris hands it off to Gillis.
TV timeout slow.
8 on the shot clock, Harris. Contested 3. He's able to put it in. So
that's the other thing. That's the other thing about Bryce Harris's game that really kind of took his game to another level is that he's been able to really extend what he can do offensively facing the rim. He can shoot the 3 effectively now. I think that was one of the pieces of his game over the last 2 years that he was working on. Mm-hmm. And essentially, yeah, he's been I mean that he's added that to his game, and that's something that's been really made him really formidable to guard defensively. We already know what his prowess is on the block, rebounding the ball. The MEAC has gotten fond of calling him a bully. They call him the Bison Bullies now. I think Live for Hoops coined that term for them. But yeah, man, this is going to be a really, really good game.
Herb, I'm going to pull up something real quick, stat line really early in the game. Won't you tell me what you see already early in the game? About to pull this up. It's the box score right now. Tell me what you see when we pull this up right here. And you do Howard right now since we're focusing on them right there. There's the box score. What do you see early with some of the stars for Howard?
Well, first thing that immediately jumps out, man, is Cedric Taylor III. He's already impacting the game in a lot of ways. I think Bryce Harris, as you look at these stats, and as the first half goes on, I'm noticing a couple of things here. Field goal attempts 5 for 9, 1 for 3, from 3-point line, 3 for 3 free throws. That's going to be really, really important because the more they get to the line and draw fouls, those are free points. You convert those points, man, it makes the job a lot easier in regards to, not having to really rely on what you do in the half court set, what you really do, in really, unsettled situations on the floor. It also shows a really good job to this point in terms of shot selection, because you see where a lot of these shots are coming from. They're coming from drives to the rim. They're trying to finish at the rim, initiate contact, and draw the foul. And I think also as it relates to what we're seeing defensively, we already see one block from Alex Cotton, who I think also is going to be an X factor in this game because he's one of the guys that comes off the bench that can really drop the 3 ball. When he gets looks, it's going to be really, it's going to be really important to see if he gets any looks and see if he gets chances to convert. I really like Okogie in this game, man, for real. I think the game plays back. I really like Okogie, man, to really make an impact in this game as well. Like I said, he's probably the most improved player on the team. And I think he has a real advantage, in the matchup that he has against his counterpart from UMBC. So, yeah, man, Bison just scored another couple of buckets. Score is now 17-11. Once we get the game back up, we'll probably catch up in the stream.
Yeah, we'll like I say again had because it was interesting. I don't know. I'm one of them people, man. I got every stream and everything, but when I pulled up on True TV, it just said my browser for some reason wasn't compatible, and I don't know what was going on with that. So I have my little trusted backup.
IT guy here. What browser were you using?
Chrome, and it says what, and so I don't know why it just doesn't act right with True TV for some reason.
Yeah, you may have to use Firefox, bro.
Yeah,
Firefox.
I'm gonna have to pull that up. But then I went to my trusty little backup there, so that's why it runs behind, and it probably should be pulling back up here pretty shortly. But so that's one of the things, like you said, Howard right now 19-11 against UMBC, man, looking really good. How deep does Howard go, Herb, on the team? Are they same basic 7 to 8 man rotation like most teams during this time of the year?
Nah, they're pretty deep, man. They go up to 10 players deep, and you'll see that in their rotations. As the game progresses, particularly when they start to pressure, they start to extend that defense out to 3/4 and full court. Now, Coach Blakeney doesn't do hockey lineups like some folks do, but they've got a lot of depth, particularly through slots 3 through 5. Chris, you're absolutely correct. UMBC has had a problem coping with the extended HU defense, man. They're doing a really good job of slowing them down. Just getting them over half court and getting their offensive set started. And once they get over half court, they're really getting into the passing lanes and really disrupting how the ball moves in those offensive sets. One of the things that you notice that I've noticed this early in the game is that those guys are not getting clean looks from behind the arc. There are no open looks whatsoever.
Yeah, very quick.
No open looks whatsoever.
Really hopping pretty well. I think somebody has to go by one of the perimeter guys.
Let people get a little taste of the action a little bit.
Of passing it around the horn, you got to drive by someone.
And then Matt, I think the last couple times down, they've been changing defenses as well.
Really not.
They've gone from matchup man to man, morphing into a zone.
UMBC still can't get to the interior. Long pass to Armstrong. Armstrong step back jumper. Oh, it's pure.
Yes, that guy again.
Yeah, Armstrong, man. I told you, man, that dude. That's one of the X factors for him.
Harris fouled at the
UMBC.
Summit.
Is that again once the play breaks down, that set, they're having a really difficult time moving the ball and getting on the block.
Howard really looking good.
The question for Howard is whether or not they're going to be able to translate that advantage that they have defensively, in ISO situations when the play breaks down. And like I said, UMBC's got 3 guards that have excellent isolation abilities, as you can already see. Armstrong is like I said, he's a dog. That dude, one thing that Howard does not want to do is let that dude get a hot hand. And
that's what I'm saying. That's what I've been hearing is that you let that kid get a hot hand, it could get crazy.
It could get real crazy. Like I said, he, just to reference again what he did in the America East tournament and that championship game. That championship game in particular against Vermont, who's programming themselves are, their tournament, familiars. That dude just, he went like 7 for 9 from 3-point range, got hot in the second half, and just carried him. Just coming down the court, just contested shot after contested shot after contested shot. He was just drilling. So the last thing that we want to do, or Howard wants to do, is allow that dude to get into an offensive rhythm. But to that effect, I think Howard's doing an excellent job defensively, man. If you notice what they're doing half court, they're morphing their defense and matching up out of man to man. They're tossing in a little bit of zone there occasionally, but not much, because they really don't want those guys to find any gaps on the perimeter or any way to move the ball in on the block, which is amazing. I look at UMBC retriever stats right now, And DJ Armstrong and Ace Valentine, who's the backcourt trio dominating the points, 5 apiece. I look at the 3-point line. They got 6 attempts already from the 3-point line. 5 of 11 from the field in terms of regular field goals. I see it. There's a story kind of playing out there. We're seeing those guys taking a lot of forced looks from 3, and I think that's something that a lot of fans are going to have to keep an eye on as the game continues on. Whether or not they're going to be able to get any points from off of the block, that's going to be really, really important, because I think Howard has an advantage on the block from slots 3 through 5.
Right.
And what's going to really be important, because I think Howard is slightly deeper than UMBC, is foul trouble, because again, Howard's offensive makeup really allows them to attack guards and attack their forwards, and get to the rim and finish. So that's going to be really, really key. The score in the updated feed right now is 20-13. Bryce Harris was at the line.
Uh-oh.
And now it's 21-13. Put in the chat who your final 4 picks, man. I'm not calling that, Scotty. Dude, it's too early. It's too early.
So it looked like I might have lost my Rocket Channel. Hold on, let's see.
Bruh.
I thought they caught me on that. So yeah, I thought I was slick doing it. Let's see.
Man, listen. I think man, that's why I got my IPTV feed, man. I can't mess with that, bro.
That is crazy. I thought they snapped it quick, boy.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I think ultimately, man, as I'm looking at Howard's offense, they're doing a really good job moving the ball. Man, they got it. Well, that's the other thing, man. They turnover, transition bucket, and he misses the bunny, but they get it back. Oh, okay, That's good stuff. But yeah, man, that I see a trend developing, man. UMBC is really having a problem with Howard's extended pressure. Just in that in that possession alone, they got to the rim, missed 2 bunnies at the rim, turned them over, and got back to the rim and converted. That does not bode well for UMBC if they cannot protect the ball, be strong, have their guards be strong with the ball, because they will get turned over.
Yeah.
This is going to be really, really interesting.
Let me see if I can get the Rocket Channel back up. Keep going, Herb.
Yeah, I mean, UMBC now finally gets the ball, via ball moving into the paint, and their best rebounder, gets met at the rim, gets fouled. He's at the foul line right now. Takes some free throws. It's 17-23, Howard. He just hits the first one. And I think the refs are talking to him now. And this Joshua Duno. He's from Maryland native, Laurel, Maryland. Yeah, man. See, a lot of these same kids, man, on both of these rosters, more so UMBC than Howard, are from the area. So it's it's something that there's a lot of familiarity there. So scores now is 23-18. Howard gets an open look, really bad shot. There's that guy again, Cedric Taylor, gets the rebound, attacks the rim, draws a foul, goes to the line. Again, this is something that's going to be a recurring theme the entire game. Cedric Taylor III, and the ability of those guards and forwards to really attack off the dribble, in multiple types of situations in the half court, scramble situations, ISO situations. That's going to be really important. And like I said, getting to the line and converting is going to be really important. I think Cedric Taylor III just missed the first free throw. UMBC got a rotation replacement coming in. Sub. I'm not sure who that is. Okay, hits the second free throw. It's 24-18 Howard. So Yeah, man. It's I think as you guys watch the game, now they're breaking the press. Ooh, they broke the press effectively that time. Easy bucket for UMBC. I think they threw a diamond. I think they threw a diamond press at UMBC that time, and they broke it. That's a that's a good shot. Rebound by Bryce Harper. Foul on UMBC. And the fouls are racking up. Bryce Harper's going to the line. At this point, man, these guys might be in the bonus already.
Yeah.
And that's really early. Like I said, that's really early in the first half to be in the bonus. I think at halftime, man, we're gonna have to take a look at what the foul situation is for UMBC, because I think that's going to factor heavy in the second half. No, that wasn't a shooting foul. Okay. Cotton from the corner, missed three. Defensive rebound from UMBC. They're advancing up the court before the press gets set. Ooh, the fake. Offensive drive conversion. Howard's only up by 2. And UMBC is trying to get into the back cut. Bryce Howard, missing the bunny, but he got rebound and a foul on Bryce Harper, man. This rebounding, I mean, Howard's Prowse rebounding is going to be really, really important. Right now, they've got an edge. They're getting a lot of second shots. That offensive session for UMBC was really important because they advanced the ball quickly before Howard's defense got set up, and they were able to get to the rim with little resistance and convert that basket. This is really going to be a good game, man. I think, but they got to hit free throws, man. You can't leave free points at the line, dude.
Right.
Just not in turn of the ball. You can't. Every possession is important. All right, so they're still in the matchup man to man. And they are now the half court again. That half court D. Oh, they called, but that was ticky tack foul right there. But you can see the difficulty that UMBC is having when the defense gets set and they have to move the ball around to get into the block. The length of Howard is really, really, really causing them problems. So I don't know.
You gotta pick your bracket sooner or later, Herb. You act like the bracket's gotta be picked by tomorrow.
I'm still marinating on it, man.
I'm talking about for the people in the chat. For the people in the chat, as you're getting ready, like I said, we're gonna talk about that at halftime. We're gonna help y'all fill your brackets out, man, so you can win you a little money. We know a little bit about that.
Contested shot, rebound for Howard. Taylor gets fouled again. Man, they're racking up fouls, man, and they can't. It looks like they're having a really, really hard time containing them off the dribble. And
I'm really impressed with Howard's defense so far.
Yeah,
and we talked about that. They were the better defensive team of the two. And what you've seen is, like you say, really UMBC has not been able to get in their offense. They've had to shoot a lot of those long threes that have hit. But again, I like what Howard is doing. And they're giving that little bit of token pressure just to wear these guys down just a little bit.
Yeah. And I think the one thing, too, is that about pressure is that it's cumulative. The more you have to go against that pressure on a regular basis during the game and you're not able to find solutions around it, it takes its toll. It takes its toll on the guards that got to handle the pressure. You've seen a couple of times where they have employed an effective press break to get transition opportunities, but like I said, even now this is token pressure, and the pressure is designed to essentially slow them down. Slow them down from initiating the offense in the half court. And that was a good pass. Ooh, that was a good pass, but the coach couldn't handle a pass. Yep. And UMBC is they're starting to adapt. They're trying to advance the ball up as fast as they possibly can. And Armstrong is a problem. Like I said, once the play breaks down, I think that's where UMBC can exploit that defense. Again, they've got 2 or 3 guys, Armstrong being the main one, that are just a handful to deal with in isolation situations as the play breaks down in half court in half court sets. And that's a good example. The play was breaking down. He found himself in an ISO situation. It just took him off the dribble, to get to the rim. This is going to be this is going to be a really, really good game, man. I am really impressed early with Howard. Then again, I mean, we've kind of seen what Howard's MO has been the entire season. If you watched a lot of MEAC basketball and watched a lot of Howard in particular, the second half of the MEAC regular season and into the tournament, they've been dominant, particularly defensively. They've turned people over. They've just made guards miserable. And you're seeing glimpses of that early in the game now. Like I said, the one counter to that for UMBC that they have is that they've got 2 or 3 guys, DJ Armstrong Jr., heads up amongst them that can really create off the dribble and can get shots whenever they want. When he's hitting the 3 ball, he's almost, he's just super difficult to deal with. He's almost unstoppable at that point. When he's, hitting shots from the perimeter and he's got, the defense kind of on skates. So that's going to be something to look out for. But as we look at these stats, field goal percentage wise, UMBC is surprisingly shooting pretty well at 53%. Howard slightly up. 3 for 7 from 3-point range, 2 for 6 for Howard. That's par for the course there. Howard's missed some bunnies. That field goal percentage should be a lot higher. They've gotten a lot of opportunities at the rim. Free throw attempts, Howard is 8 for 10. They've missed 2, but that 80% clip is a good sign.
And also, what is a better sign that they're basically have doubled up on the fouls compared. Like you talked about the early foul that UMBC was doing, but the fact that Howard is capitalized off of for 8 points.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the points in the paint in particular too, 14-8. That's trending in Howard's direction. The assists, are fairly even. UMBC has 1 more assist. There's 1 steal for UMBC, 1 block for Howard. Total turnovers. I'm actually pretty impressed with the level with the turnovers to this point for UMBC and Howard because for the pressure that they've been under, UMBC has done a fairly effective job protecting the ball. Now both have 3 points off of turnovers. Transition points hasn't really been a factor, but I think that may be if pressure is extended on both sides and one, MEAC might, I would tend to agree on DJ Armstrong. Like I said, that dude's a beast. I think he's gonna. I think his performance, if he advances in the tournament, is going to raise some eyebrows. But I think his performance in the America East tournament raised some eyebrows as well. I don't think it's going to take the NCAA tournament for him to attract the type of attention, particularly in that area of the country that he's attracting. Current score right now, 28-25. Howard's up by 3.
All-time truth teller.
Howard has the ball. UMBC has switched to a matchup man-to-man. Gillis gets into the lane. Okoji with the 3 ball and hits the 3. Howard goes up 31-25. Howard extends the pressure again, and UMBC is having problems again. Okay, they get an open look, hits the open look. The big guy gets an open look in the corner of that trap, and actually hits the 3. 31-28, Howard. Yeah, man. And UMBC, man, I think they're okay. You're the Lithuanian guy for Howard gets it on the block. And this is another bunny, even though this one was kind of contested. Yeah, these missed shots, man, are not really open 3 for UMBC. Missed. Howard University rebound, score still the same, 31-28. Cam Gillis gets through into the lane, Bryce Williams attracts another foul, goes to the line. Man, Bryce Harris, rather. My bad. Yeah, the fouls are piling up, man. I think UMBC is going to have a real problem come the second half. Man.
That's the thing about it. But like I said, they're hanging right in there. Like I said, again, close, tight game, which, like I said, again, coming out that UMBC was favored by 1.5. But like I said, a lot of people liked Howard in this matchup because of the defense. Like I said, a close game. Nobody's really pulled away. I want to see Howard get a little bit more consistent from the outside. Oh, and there you go. There's your guy again. You'll see it in a second, Herb.
Yeah, man. DJ, yeah, man. The missed free throws though is starting to bother me. They give up an easy bucket to UMBC on the back cut. UMBC cuts the lead to 31-30. Howard's up. And UMBC is going to a zone. Matchup zone. Bryce Howard gets 3 ball. Howard University gets the rebound. Okoji with the rebound, converts to 2 and is fouled again.
Yeah.
Goes to the line, man. Look, they're getting rebounds. I mean, they're getting rebounds whenever they want, man. And these are offensive rebounds too in their own sets. Those are, anybody that knows how important offensive rebounds are. That's extra shot attempts, extra possessions. So the fact that Howard has had this much of an impact, on the glass in the first half bodes well. Koji converts the 3-point play. Howard goes back up by 4. Howard extends the pressure again. This is token pressure. UMBC gets it over. They actually handle it pretty well this time. Good block by the Lithuanian from Howard. Cam Gillis pushes the tempo, finishes. Howard goes back up 36-30. Man, this is UMBC calls a timeout.
Yeah, that's the block you just talked about right there.
So, as you notice, man, UMBC is starting to get a little bit comfortable with the token pressure that Howard is using. You're right. They are a little bit slow to react. I think there's a real opportunity for Howard University, for Coach Blakeney to exploit that by intensifying the press. And we've seen different types of presses early in the first half. We've seen them really extended 3/4 court, full court. We've seen token pressure that's just designed to slow the ball, ball handler to get over half court to initiate offense. The last couple of times that they've extended the token pressure, UMBC took at least 10 seconds, not 10 seconds, but close to 10 seconds to get over half court and to initiate offense. I think they initiated offense in one of those series, probably with 17 or 18 seconds left on the shot clock where they initiated offense.
Right.
That's going to factor in their ability to actually deal with the pressure and the different types of pressure that's being tossed at them is going to be really important. Like I said, VMAT made a really good observation. They do appear real sluggish, particularly handling those pressure situations. So the one thing that I noticed on the Howard side, man, they're sharp. They're executing their offense extremely well. They're moving the ball extremely well. Shot selection for the most part has been really, really good. I'm a little concerned about their inability to finish at the rim in some instances, although that hasn't been that big of an issue. I'm always concerned about free throws because that's free money, man. That's free chicken right there. If you're not hitting free throws at a consistent clip in tournament ball, particularly as the game gets later in the game, you get down the stretch, it can be a real problem, man. And for the most part, Howard's converting those free throw attempts. I just want them to convert more.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because the way it's going, man, UMBC hasn't been able to stay in front of them in terms of them attacking the rim. I anticipate UMBC is going to go to a lot of zone. a lot of junk, a little bit of junk D to prevent that penetration into the lane. You saw a little bit of that in the last couple of Howard possessions, where they alternated between a matchup man-to-man and matchup 2-3. This is there's a little chess match that's going on. Oh, UMBC was about to break the pressure. Taylor, makes a tactical foul to coin a soccer term, a tactical foul against Mr. King or UMBC. Good, but that's a good play because they got the fouls to give. They haven't been committing any fouls. So UMBC still has to go against that half-court defense. And again, right now, man, they are really, really having problems. The ball movement is really sluggish for them. They're doing a lot of isolation. Block at the rim. That was a block, man. Come on, dude. That was not a
block. So you got that score 30-36, right around that 5-minute mark, going underneath the last 5 minutes before the half.
Yeah, Bryce Harper just blocked the ball. I thought it was a clean block. This forward that they got, I think they're gonna really isolate him a lot in the second half. He misses the free throw. This is the bunny. Because he's a little slow foot, and I think that's a real mismatch.
Ooh! Oh, I didn't know your boy Koji had that outside shot there, Herb.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I told you. Of course, I'm seeing a delay. He's about to drill it. So
16 points in the game, Howard on an 8-0 run.
Yeah, man. And that's the other thing about Howard, man. Howard, is they can go on long runs, man. They turned that into an art form during the MEAC tournament. And essentially, that last game against North Carolina Central, good cross-court pass. Yeah, Koji drills that 3-ball. Yeah, man. And now they're extended the pressure. That extended pressure, they have problems dealing with it. That was almost a travel. Now, I'm assuming you're looking at the tail end of that half court offense for UMBC. That's another foul. That was a little ticky-tack foul by Bryce. Cross court pass. Koji hits the 3. That's good stuff. That's really good stuff. That's good vision by Bryce Harper. I swear, man, Howard is like I said, man, Howard, UMBC, it's got to find a solution to the change of pressure. Oh, Mr. Free Throw, that's really that is, and a foul off the missed free throw. So they're already in the bonus. They're going to the line. So that's more free chicken, more free points, man. This has the potential of turning into a double-digit lead in the half. Bryce Harper at the line. Converts the first free throw.
10-0 run last minute.
Yeah, Bryce Harris, my bad. Sorry about that. I keep on conflating Harris and Harper. Man. I don't know why. Bryce Harper, by the way, was the phenom freshman that was in the mix last year for Howard before he transferred to Creighton.
I'm gonna tell you something. I like what I'm seeing from Howard. Love it. Man.
Like I said, and now they've extended the pressure again, different type of press, and you notice, like I said, they're really, really, really taking advantage of the fact that those guards are having a tough time advancing against the pressure. UMBC is employing a little bit of pick and roll. Now they're trying to implement a little bit of pressure of their own. They foul again. Fouls are racking up, man, and they're giving them 3 points. 41-30 Howard. UMBC calls a timeout, or I think that's a media timeout. Man, this is looking good. This is an excellent first half, man, for Kenny Blake. Those guys came out sharp. The game plan is pretty apparent, and they're executing. They're attacking. one thing that's really apparent to me right off the bat is the fact that I don't know if it's jet lag, or the fact that I'm not going to inquire about what that is, but they
Right.
are they are really, really, really being disrupted by pressure. Um, yeah, I'm not going to go that far, man. I've seen too many first four games that turn out. First half is epic. That second half turns into cardiac central. So, yeah, I'm really happy to see how we're doing that. I want to see them finish. So, but I'm glad you put this graphic up, because I got some thoughts about this.
Come on, let's talk about it, because this is the time about it. You know what I'm saying? Again, being real careful with the feed. Like I said, the man is already watching. I thought I could slick it by doing a backdoor feed, but he snapped the Rocky channel, so we don't want to knock this one out. Well, I mean, and the thing about it was, what's so funny, as I was talking to Scott, he said, "Hey, Mr. Campbell, make sure you just don't show," which we didn't, and don't show any commercials, because that's you like. And I'm like, okay, we're doing good. We didn't show anything over a minute or two, and I'm looking over and I'm saying, oh, the feed is gone. So yeah, we're going to give you still the highlights. I know you guys are watching. Letting you know the game is on True TV.
Yeah.
Game on True TV. First four game, Howard Bison against UMBC, the Terriers. Howard up by, I believe, it scored 41 to, let me see, I think it's 41-30.
41-30.
Yep, 41-30 with 3:42 remaining in the first half. And we got a graphic here that I wanted Herb to talk about. Herb, Kenny Blakeney, former Dookie, having some success at Howard. Let's talk about it.
Man, before we start talking about this, I'm going to repeat a mantra that I've been saying ever since I came into this space to cover college basketball for HBCUs. Who you hire matters. Who you hire to build your programs out matters. This is a perfect example. When Kenny Blakeney's name came up for Howard University program, a lot of people from the area thought it was a home run. And I, for one, agreed with him. Everybody's familiar with Kenny Blakeney's pedigree. He played for Duke under Coach K. Coached for a period of time under Coach K. Was part of Coach K coaching tree. This was his first head coaching opportunity. And the reality is he's knocked it out the park. 321 seasons, 4 regular season titles, 3 MEAC tournament titles, 2 NCAA Division I tournament appearances for Howard, which is, look, anybody that knows the history of Howard basketball before Kenny Blakeney got there, there's not really much of a history in terms of Division I, tournament appearances. More importantly, man, he's really revolutionized the games back on 43-40 UMBC, 43-30 rather, Howard, my bad. He's revolutionized how HBCUs can approach everything from recruiting to fundraising to really modernizing how you staff programs. He's attacking NIL, revolutionizing how to go about fundraising for mid-major programs. He's doing the thing. I think the first thing that really put him on the radar was the recruitment of McCord Maker, not Thon Maker, McCord Maker. And
McDonald's All-American, top 10 player.
Top 10 player, McDonald's All-American. And a lot of folks, went through the whole negative recruiting spiel as HBCU. You're not going to get exposed there, blah, 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 blah. And lo and behold, he lands him. And not only did he land him, he's still a very integral part of the Howard University basketball family. That dude is in and around the program all the time. And that is something that I want to, 45-35 Howard University. They're back in the set. UMBC's going to his own. And, turnover by Howard. Transition bucket, probably the first one of the game. And that was a transition dunk and a foul by Howard. That was not a good offensive session by the Bison. But, yeah, man, I think ultimately, man, this guy has been for the last 3 or 4 years in the DC metro area. He's been, he's run the winningest program in the area, bar none. And when I don't say that lightly, because you got University of Maryland in the area. By the way, we're not counting UVA and Virginia Tech. Those programs are not DMV programs. Okay, Charlottesville is not in the DMV, and Blacksburg is sure as hell is not in the DMV. So they're not DMV programs.
No.
All right, so we're talking about DMV proper within the Beltway. So, you got Georgetown, you got University of Maryland, two really top brand names in college basketball. You got George Mason, who's on a run of their own with Tony Skinn. It's a shame that they're not in the tournament. Tony Skinn's done a hell of a job there. George Washington. These guys have legit, he's built the winningest program in the DC metro area over the last 5 years, point blank. And the reality is that he's got the potential to really turn this into something special. He's got resources there that I think are very underrated, even with the, facilities as they are, because I think Burr is probably up for renovation.
Mm-hmm.
And as a venue in comparison to other facilities in the conference, it may not have, some of the bells and whistles, but it has the potential. It has the potential to really turn into a place that can really, that could really be an oasis for players that are looking to, chart their own path and to make their own mark in college basketball. Out of all the HBCUs, men and women, who has the best shot to pull off an upset? That's a good question, man.
I got to go with Tennessee State Tigers, man.
Yeah, I would say on the men's side, I would say Tennessee State. Anybody that's seen that Tennessee State squad, those guys are lights out, man. Nolan Richardson has done one hell of a job recruiting and fitting.
Nolan Smith.
Nolan Richardson. Jesus Christ. Nolan Smith, my bad, Smitty, my bad, dude. I think they've got the best shot out of the men to pull an upset. I think Howard University women have those guys are dangerous, man. I don't say that, with homerism on the brain. Howard drains another bucket. They're keeping his lead at double figures going into halftime, 23.4 seconds left, 49-39 Bison. Bison scored almost 50 points in this half, man. Jeez.
Man, listen, offense looking good, defense looking good, everything they want. We're going to definitely, but at the half, we're going to play a sound for Kenny Blakeney of something that he kind of talked about. I thought was interesting. We'll get you that. We've got.
Oh, EA, man. Look, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about the modern era of HBCU basketball. I'm not talking about 81 to 84.
Well, let's say wait a minute now, so we don't get this confused. In the 21st century, how about that?
Yeah, 21st century. Larry Spriggs is Larry Spriggs, man. Anybody that has a HBCU basketball history hat knows who Larry Spriggs is, and some of the other players of that era that came out of that program. But at the same time, man, for the time era we're talking about in terms of Blakeney's impact, over a sustained period of time, it's hard to argue against, man, for real. I think Kenny Blakeney and, for the MEAC, I think Kenny Blakeney, they must have just scored. I just saw the updated score. They're about to score. So, yeah, they must have just scored. Kenny Blakeney, Robert Jones Jr. over at Norfolk State, Lavelle Moten in North Carolina Central, Eric Martin, South Carolina State, even though I think I hear you, Zach. My bad, bro. My bad. I think when you talk about a core of coaches in terms of mid-major basketball, you're talking about an underrated roster of coaches. You're talking about the MEAC. I mean, because each one of those guys in their own right has really held it down. Moten, has probably done so the longest at North Carolina Central. He's had some down years.
He's striking right before the horn, but a high quality here in Dayton.
Yeah, man. This is gonna be a really good game, man. We just hit halftime.
Putting it on the floor and
Oh,
making it
Bryson
happen.
with
And then all of a sudden they didn't allow enough time for Howard to
see if
go
I can get
down
this
the
interview
other
in
end
real
with the
quick.
ball either.
Jenny Dell is standing by with OC Akoje.
Kicking things off in the NCAA tournament.
But yeah,
with
it's
16 points. What's working for
dude,
you?
I'm really
keeping attacking and trusting my teammates. They trust me to have the ball and not just lead them like that.
Coach's had a
You guys
monster.
are shooting over 50% from the field. How do you keep this offense clicking?
Just by moving the ball and ball movement. No one's bigger than the team, so just keep ball movement and body movement what our coach preaches. So that's how we're going to keep it going.
Great start.
Yes, sir, man. That was an excellent half, man. I mean, I think that's outside of some detail-oriented things in terms of hitting more free throws. Come on, Zach. Stall me out, bro. Stall me out.
Listen, now, well, listen, let me tell you something. Shout out to Blue because listen, we've had it ain't look, Herb. Listen, you're not part of this. This is what we've had the old school, new school. Y'all don't know your history. When integration, pre-integration. See, Blue is keeping up with all this. So we had to do the cutoff line for the young folks and everything. So it's not you. So Blue is making an inside joke, and we had a team with Lionel because those folks didn't know their history. But go ahead,
man. But yeah, just a quick breakdown of the first half, man. I'm really impressed with how focused Howard has come into this game, and really stuck to their own game plan in terms of what they wanted to impose on UMBC defensively. They're making things miserable for them in terms of advancing the ball, getting into half-court sets. Really, once they're in half-court sets, really moving the ball effectively. UMBC's ball movement has been just like molasses, man. They've been slow. It's really been sticking, and it's really allowed Howard University's defense to be even more disruptive because the ball sticks in certain places. They're able to trap. They're able to force players late into the shot clock where they have to create something one-on-one or in an ISO situation. UMBC, has started to implement, some pick and roll in those half-court sets a little bit. Yeah, EA, man, I feel you, dude.
Hold on, Herb, just real quick. Hey, listen, just real quick, guys. It is the watch party, the Howard Bison versus the UMBC Terriers, supporting the Howard Bison, man. It's Mr. Campbell. It is Hbcu, Hbcu Hoops Weekly, man. Appreciate you on the Off Script channel. Was on the Rocky Middle channel, but the man struck us down. But we're still here on the Off Script channel, letting us know, hey, man, listen, it's the halftime. Come on up. Tell us what you think about the first half. Tell us what you think about, hey, man, we got another game tomorrow with Prairie View. If you want to talk about that, we're here to talk about that too. Just come on up, hit the link. We'll bring you on up and talk about it a little bit. Go ahead, Herb.
Yeah, man. But yeah, like I was saying, the first half, man, I think Howard's in a really good position to really put that thumb on the rest of this game. If they come out early in the second half and execute the way that we've seen them execute. Their ball movement has been really good. They have a decided advantage in terms of, slots one through three, rather. In terms of how they attack the defense, how they attack the rim. UMBC is already in a good amount of foul trouble, man. They were in the bonus before the end of the half, and that's going to factor into that game. Into the second half of this game because if Howard continues to attack, and we saw UMBC start to employ a little bit of zone, as the game got late into the first half.
So I know how important.
And I think we're going to see more zone from UMBC if the foul trouble continues, because I just don't see those guys staying in front of a lot of these players.
Harmony Bailey for Howard University.
They've been, when they haven't been in zone and they've been in matchup man to man, they've been able to get wherever they want on the floor and in the paint. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of coaching adjustments UMBC's coach makes. I think you're going to see a little bit more of Cedric Taylor III and Bryce Harris, rather. Jesus, Bryce Harper. Stop it, Herbert. Bryce Harris attack. Those respective post players. So this is, I'm like I said, I'm really excited, man. We're looking at the stats. Both are right around 50. Both are right at 50%. Field goal percentage. Howard's 4 of 9. From 3-point range. UMBC slightly less. Howard's got a marked advantage on the glass. I think we're looking at the stats now. The rebound advantage is double figures. Those guys are really, really, really killing it offensively.
Herb, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna play this sound from Kenny Blakeney. I really like this. And like I said, we're gonna play this and then we're gonna get you what you think about this on the other side, okay? Kenny Blakeney, press conference before the game, really talking about what it meant for him to be at Howard and how he had to learn a few things by being at Howard coming from Duke.
Hi, Coach KB. Harmony Bailey for Howard University. So I know how important culture is to you from your high school days at DeMatha Catholic to being a part of 2 national championships at Duke. So my question is, how has what has been poured into you translated over to you coaching and coming to March Madness 3 times at Howard?
That's a wonderful question. Being at DeMatha and being at Duke, you don't see the culture as it's being built. You get in the back of the line and you do what the older guys are doing in front of you. So I didn't understand how to build culture. I understood how to follow culture. And there's a huge difference. I had to learn how to build a culture. And that took some time. And thankfully, my man over here, Mr. Davis.
How was AD?
Was great. It was great. I mean, I don't know how many games we won our first year, 4 or 5. Our next year, we were 1 and whatever before COVID, and we had to shut the season down. But, he was nurturing. He was loving. He was tough when he needed to be. But he was right by my side as a partner.
Man.
Her, let me say something before you get it. I want to say something as the elder statesman on here. It is very hard for a black man to be vulnerable in this world because of all the things and pressures that we have to go through. And for a black man to say another black man was loving and nurturing says a lot of the confidence and the respect that he has for the AD and the AD has for him. And to hear that as a black man, because like I said, black men don't tell each other we love each other enough as brothers, as comrades in arms. And to see him at this moment and understand, and not to say he didn't get opportunity because he did coach over there at Duke, but the coaching opportunity and for him to develop and to become who he is as a man. And that's what he said. He said, hey, and shout out to DeMatha. Everybody knows DeMatha Catholic. Morgan Wood, one of the greatest high school coaches of all time, goes to Coach K. It was already developed. And he talked about how he had to create it. It was his time to step out the shadows of those great coaches that he coached under, played under, and to sit back and to see him right then and there with that statement. It touched me as a black man. And I want to say, for many of us, we have to support each other because there's so many people that are pulling against us. There's so many people that don't want to see us succeed. That's why I have to have my man Herb on here because I have so much respect for him and his basketball knowledge. And we don't talk enough basketball in this HBCU space. And thank you for Rocky and Scotty to give us the opportunity to use this space to talk about our programs that we built. So Herb,
Man.
go ahead. What do you think?
Man, there's just so many layers to this as I watch it. Not just being a DMV guy, but being somebody that believes strongly in the mission that HBCUs have, not just in terms of our students, but in terms of our professional development. And you know, I look at that interview from Blakeney, and I am quite literally, I think a lot of us that are brothers, man, we feel it because we've all had that moment where somebody has given us an opportunity to blossom, to develop, to expand their expertise, their skill set, what have you, however you want to describe it. Now, in Kenny Blakeney's case, man, I think, before I get into the rest of what I want to say, there are some pretty unique pressure points being a head coach of Division I basketball in the DC metropolitan area. More unique than, there are not too many other places in college basketball that are that type of a pressure cooker from a media standpoint. You might have, I can think of North Carolina, the state of North Carolina for one. If you're a D1 program in the state of North Carolina, it's University of North Carolina, Duke, in a distant second, Wake Forest, North Carolina State, and then everybody else you're competing with. In certain other places where you're really the only game in the state, your Kansas State, for example. The DC metropolitan area, in terms of being a head coach at a Division I program, is unique in the sense that you've got two legendary programs in close proximity to each other. In Georgetown, even though Georgetown, has been kind of down on their laurels for the majority of the recent basketball era since John Thompson rolled out, and the University of Maryland, and being a mid-major in the middle of that is hard. Just ask George Washington and George Mason, who have their own stories. And the fact of the matter is that you got a local guy, a guy from the that's born and bred, PG County, Washington, D.C., comes up, through the WCAC. He's like you mentioned, he's a DeMatha product. Anybody that's from the DC metropolitan area knows, arguably the winningest high school basketball program on the planet in DeMatha High. And I have no qualms, tooting the DC metropolitan area flag for DeMatha because it's the truth. You've lost count. You'll lose count of how many pros have come out of that high school by itself, not just the conference. But the fact that he chose an HBCU to start his career, and more importantly, was really serious about it, because what people don't realize is that, he looked at his options. He had options to go to other mid-major, more visible mid-major programs to get his start. He had a couple of D1, a couple of Power 4 opportunities when the Howard job came up, and he chose Howard because he wanted to build something at a HBCU. And as a guy that has longed to see, let me put it another way. The last national championship that an HBCU program in the DC metropolitan area saw was UDC, University of District of Columbia. Earl Jones, Michael Britt, early 80s. They went to back-to-back Division II national title games, 1-1. Both of those guys are NBA guys. That's what we've seen in terms of national championships out of HBCUs in the DC metro area. And the fact of the matter that Coach Blakeney is building something really special on Georgia Avenue, and more importantly, is championing the cause of HBCU athletics and HBCU basketball. You know, it speaks volumes. There's not a price you can put on it, because I look at what we've seen this year, and I want to kind of take this into a bigger perspective, because we talk about coaches like Coach, mental level IQ for basketball. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. When we talk about the broader range of what our coaches the hurdles that our coaches have to jump through, what they have to jump through in terms of scheduling, in terms of recruiting, in terms of building programs, the relationship that Coach Blakely and the AD at Howard University has, I only see it in I very rarely see it in other places, where when somebody gives you the keys to the program and says, look, you can make mistakes. I believe in the vision that you got for the program. Build. And that's what Howard University's AD has allowed Kenny Blakely to do, and he's building. And the reality is that kids see this. I know this for a fact, firsthand, because I have kids hit me up on Twitter and other social media outlets on a regular basis as I share recruiting information. It's like, look, man, what you know about Howard University, Kenny Blakely's program? What you know about Norfolk State? What you know about North Carolina Central? Because their coaches precede them. The body of work precedes them. So it's, seeing, not just seeing Howard on this type of platform, for the rest of the country to see is important, absolutely. But it's really important when we talk about the narrative that you can build at HBCU programs at the D1 level and be seen, because it flies in the face of the narrative, the negative recruiting that's been going on for years and years against D1 HBCUs. You go to HBCU, you're not really going to get seen. That's BS. If you can play and you hire the right way, you're going to build a winner, and those winners get seen. This is, what we've been seeing with the run of HBCU basketball, with Howard and Norfolk State, Tennessee State now with Nolan Smith, that flies in the face of that narrative, man. And I'm, seeing that just really, it gets me pumped up to see what other things we can accomplish with the support, of our admins, and the admins being on the same page. So,
well, I gotta say this again, and I'm gonna keep saying, Rocky, I see you in the background. We got my man Rocky hanging out. I don't know if he coming to monitor. He might be mad at me because we got shut down.
you zip the channel, man.
Bro, like, what you doing? Hey, man, listen, I tried my best. It was only like 30 seconds. But with that being said, but I'm gonna keep saying this, man, which is important, and I'm gonna make this bigger. And Howard, especially, that for basketball, because I think sometimes you got to focus on what you could do really well. You're not going to tell me, and again, I'm not talking about NIL because I don't know what these schools, I'm just talking about just names right now, Herb, because let me tell you something, and I'm going to say this, don't get it twisted. Howard has multi-millionaire alums.
Oh, yeah.
So again, and we already heard it. Nolan Smith told you, cats is not, you can find cats that can play ball that we can give $8, $10, $12, $15,000. Let's just put it in that range. I'm going to say this again. Siena, North Iowa, Cal Baptist. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Man. North Dakota, Furman. Yeah. I mean, these, again, are teams that we have played in football at one time or another. And I'm going to keep saying it. McNeese, Troy. Come on, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's Idaho, bro. You getting, like I said, they might have, I know they got a few brothers ball up there at Idaho. You know what I'm saying? Again, Akron.
Man, yeah. Man,
right,
I want
to come on, man. See, my thing is, this is not, and I'm gonna say this again. Everybody ain't going pro. All them kids at McNeese is not like, oh, I'm coming here to go to NBA. They're not. They want to play basketball. So let's get kids that want to play basketball.
Well, the thing that really strikes me whenever the way you did that breakdown particularly as it relates to recruiting, man, is that, and I think we kind of got into the nuts and bolts of it last night when we were kind of doing the preview.
Hold on, wait a minute. Keelan must have listened to me a long time because he know I don't like them directional state. Bro, listen, hold on. Let me get this dog off. Because Keelan has clearly watched it. Because when I used, this would be my thing. At FAMU, Jackson State, Grambling, Southern, A&T, whatever, bro. If we see a black kid in some directional state, bro, I gotta have you at FAMU. If you going to some directional state, north, east, west, south, Texas, north, east, west, South Carolina, come on, man. So he knows what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking, bro. We cannot be losing to directional state college on the recruits. Go ahead, Herb.
Man, listen. The one thing about mid-majors, man, in general at the D1 level is that they have some of those mid-majors have their own built-in, recruiting, skill sets in terms of the types of players that they get. They go after, they attack, or however you want to word it. The thing about HBCUs is that we have a really unique opportunity to sell, talent, particularly at the D1 level. One is D1, okay? For better or worse, a lot of kids, coming through the ranks. Come
Hold
through
on,
high school.
just real quick, just a level set. Hey, man, the second half has started. 52-43. Second half has just started. So if you guys, once again, the game is on True TV. We will try to pop in and out of the game. Like I said, we don't want to violate anybody. But once again, game is on True TV. 52-43, 18-minute mark. Go ahead, Herb.
Koji hits another three. Woo, boy, he hot. But yeah, man. The reality is, man, I think particularly at the D1 level, man, we have to, and by we, I mean our administrations collectively, our conferences collectively, we have to empower our staffs, our programs to be able to be creative in recruiting, to be able to go out and to, present the brand of HBCUs, not just HBCU athletics, but HBCUs in general, because that's a recruiting tool. You'd be amazed at how many kids, and I'll use Howard as an example prior to Kenny Blakeney getting there, because I think Kenny Blakeney has done an excellent job of making himself seen in the region, in recruiting circles. I mean, he's been everywhere, and kids notice it. I've run into kids in the WCAC, in PG County 4A, 3A, 2A, in Montgomery County 4A, 3A, 2A, that in past years, they wouldn't be checking for HBCUs, primarily because they don't see them. They don't see a lot of HBCUs in terms of the representatives at their events and a lot of the AAU circles that they frequent, that they play at. That's changed. Robert Jones is there. Kenny Blakeney's there. I know Tony Matlock down at Alabama State. Mo Williams to a certain extent within the state of Mississippi for Jackson State. He's really active in the AAU circuit and AAU scene in terms of recruiting. Same thing with JUCO. Nolan Smith and that staff that he has there, that's all they do is, they're up and down the road recruiting and being seen by kids. That is the key, particularly for HBCUs at the D1 level, man, because the brand itself, particularly in this day and age, is appealing. Being able to apply your trade and play at an HBCU in an environment where you can build something and you can, quite literally, make your own stamp and do so, by building a legacy at an HBCU. It's a unique recruiting tool that not many other mid-majors have. And it's something that, we really have to embrace.
Hey, man, yeah. Howard on the run. Once again, defense to offense.
Yeah, man. I think I'm a little bit behind because I know 48
Yeah,
to
you're about to
56.
see it. Yeah, you're about to see it.
Yeah, man.
Try to see if I can sneak it.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this. Oh, he misses the bunny. Armstrong misses the bunny. They get out in transition. Oh wow, man, that is horrible defense from UMBC to try to stop transition bucket. He just let him get. He just let Gillis get to the rim, man. Can't do that, man. That's bad juju.
I think this is the defensive transition right here. What you're gonna
Yeah,
see. And here we
misses.
go. Here you go. This is right here.
Yeah,
This is what
yeah,
you're gonna see.
misses
This
another.
transition offense right here, Herb.
Yeah, pushing it before the defense get there. Yeah,
Yep.
man. Yeah, they're. This is yeah, this is that's a good point. That's a good point, man. Kevin Nickelberry, while he was out, was really good recruiter. No doubt about that. So was Thornton. Yeah, dude.
Somebody better get a TO, baby.
Man, listen.
That's your boy Harris.
Yeah, man. I'm
Tell
telling
the
you,
people
dude.
again, Herb, reset for. Tell them about your boy Harris. What kind of kid he is.
Man, look, Bryce Harris is a monster. 4-year kid. You know, if his jersey ain't going up in the rafters in Burr after this season, then Erica Lee needs to pitch a fit for that to happen because it should be. That's how important he's been to that program. Oh wow, yeah, run.
Look at them stats. The boy already got 10 rebounds. Let's go to the box score real quick.
Yeah,
see
man.
What your man is down there doing the dirty work, as they say,
yeah.
Herb.
Yeah, Okoji picked up where he left off in the first half, man. And you know, I look at Cedric Taylor's stats. Look at these stats, man. 11
Your boy
points.
Bryce Harris already got a double-double.
Yeah, man. Yeah, 12 points, 10 rebounds, man. Look at the rebounding numbers across the board. You know, Bryce Harris has 10, but you got 4, 2, 3, 4. Cedric Taylor got 4. You know,
look at the balance score. You got 4 guys already in double figures man.
And
Bryson off the bench with 11.
Yeah, and that's something that's been their MO the entire year. You know, the balanced nature of their scoring. Kenny Blakeney's offense does a really good job of moving the ball around and getting shot opportunities for everybody. In other words, they're not fixated on one offensive point in half-court sets. You know, they get out in transition. They do turn people over. That's where a lot of those points come from as well. I'm looking at these field goal percentages. Okoji, man, he's 7 of 10. He's shooting 70% from the floor, 3 of 3 from 3-point range. 50% from the free throw line. It could be better there, but I ain't complaining because dude is lighting it up. He's got 19 points, 4 rebounds too. He's stuffing the stat sheet. You know what I'm saying? Cam Gillis, he's only got 6 points, but you know what? He's really, really protected the ball. He's got 5 assists, 3 rebounds. He's stuffing the stat sheet in his own way. And yo, man, I mean, this is, I'm looking at I want to see the offensive rebounding column, man. And it's like, I think the offensive rebound column is cut off a little bit in that display. So, but for what I can see is, there's 2 offensive rebounds to Cedric Taylor the third, 2 for Koji. Is that 1 for Bryce Harris or 2 or 3? I can't tell. But the crazy thing is that, you look at the bench, you got Travell Bryson coming off the bench with 11 points, double figures, maximizing time, so, even though the bench scoring hasn't been there like it normally has, it's been there enough. And we haven't even talked about, Alex Cotton yet. He hasn't really had an impact on the game like I thought he was going to have because he's probably the best outside shooter on the team. But, they haven't needed it, to be quite honest with you, man. They've been, Kenny Blakeney's doing a masterful job, coaching this game, man. The adjustments that UMBC had coming out of the half, the ball movement is a little bit better against that defense. But yeah, one thing that I've kind of said in the coverage all this year is that Howard University is a team built for runs. And we saw that in full effect. Now, plays back in. Howard has the token pressure back out. UMBC is back into their half court set, and they're still having really problems moving the ball, extending the ball. Armstrong hits a three, ends the run. Yeah, can't let that dude get hot, man. Really can't. 61-51 Howard. Armstrong scoring is really keeping them in the game at this point. This is really impressive, man. They're spreading them out. Harris with the drive and the bucket. Man, they're going to have to do something about that. Now they're extending the pressure. This is full court man-to-man pressure. Foul. I think it's a little bit of ticky-tack foul from the ref, but I mean, but yeah, dude. I mean, if you haven't seen this Howard University team, man, they are very, very, very impressive. Very well coached. They execute. There's a lot of attention to detail, being implemented in terms of what their game plan is for UMBC. UMBC has not been able to move the ball effectively the entire game. They've been disrupted from start to finish.
They have been under total duress.
They have been under duress. I wouldn't put the pressure in the category of Nolan Richardson's 90,
Nolan Smith.
Help. Nolan Richardson.
Oh, okay. You are talking about the Nolan Richardson now.
I'm talking about him now. I wouldn't put the type of pressure that we're seeing in that type of category, because anybody that's familiar with those Arkansas squads, 40 minutes of hell was not an exaggeration. You were under duress from start to finish. From full court, once you got to half court, you had to deal with traps, all sorts of stuff. But from what I've seen, man, in terms of this last half of the season, from what Blakeney has really gotten this group of kids to buy into, they're executing, flawlessly at this point. They're attacking the glass. The job on the glass, they're doing extremely well, particularly on the defensive glass. UMBC is not getting any second shots, man.
No,
they're getting one shot per possession, and that's it.
And we saw that thing early. We saw that early in, as they want to say, the first part of the first half, where Howard was dominating the boards early.
Yeah, and I mean that theme has not changed, man. Now I will say this. I know we're going to hear it from some of those folks in the chat, or not in the chat, but on social media about the supposed delay. But I'm just going to say this, man. If they weren't mentally prepared to deal with this Howard team, it looks like it, because they Howard's kind of imposing their will at this point. And to be quite honest with you, man, I thought that UMBC, personnel from man to man, that they would be a little bit more effective staying in front of Howard University, in half court situations and getting to the basket. But HU's been able to get to the basket whenever they want off the dribble. And that has really been impressive to me, and it's not just been, the big two either.
Right.
Cam Gillis has gotten in on act. Okoji has gotten there at will. He's getting there whenever he wants. And the fact of the matter is that this league could be a lot bigger if they finish at the rim more. If they make some, you're absolutely right. Ja, put that comment up. There's no team in the America East like Howard, and I'll be the first one to tell you that. I think. And
let's talk about what John's talking about. He's talking about the conference that Maryland, Baltimore plays in when they play in the American East Conference.
Yes, exactly. There's no league, there's no team in that conference in the American East that's like HU. That was not a foul. But I mean, I'm not gonna. Come on, man. Come on, refs. Don't do this. 63-51 Howard, about 12 rather. Hill is going to the line, or Ace Valentine rather, not Hill. He's going to the line. Hits the first one.
You want me to tell you who has played an unsung role but kept this team in order the whole game? Cam Gillis, the point guard.
Oh yeah, Cam has been a floor general out there, man, for real. Dude, that was one of the things going into the game that I had an eye on because Cam's stature isn't like everybody else's. But not only has he really been strong with the ball, he's distributed the ball effectively. Cotton with the three, right on cue. I said he hadn't had an impact in the game yet, and he comes out and drills a three. 66-52 Howard. And Howard extends the pressure yet again. You know what I mean, UMBC is having real issues, man. Oh, they're about to travel, turnover. Jeez. UMBC is out of sorts, man. And they're not being, this is not an overly physical game. They're just being disruptive, man.
Right.
Howard is using that length effectively. And look who's on the play. That Swiss Army knife, Cedric Taylor III. I mean, that dude was the defensive player of the year in the MEAC, and he was defensive player of the year in the MEAC for a good reason, for moments like that. Like I said, he can guard, in a pinch, he can guard four positions, 1 through 4. And we've seen that at times during the game, where he's guarded the point guard. He's taken up man-to-man on the wing. He's been put into situations where he's been, back-to-back over 14 on the block. We've seen a lot of that already in the game. So UMBC is back at the free throw line. Ace Valentine, it looks like. No, that's not Ace Valentine. That's number 4. That's Hill. He hits the free throw, cuts the lead to 13, I believe. Yep, 66-53. And he's got another free throw, and he hits the second free throw, 66-54 Howard. And this is telling, man, because UMBC is backed off of their own pressure, and they settled into a zone.
Yeah, well, it's not working. It's not working. And again, when you're only playing 7 guys, you can't extend that pressure, and you tire your own self out.
Yeah. Howard's ball, that was a risk.
No, didn't execute it. Shout out to my homeboy. What's up, Uncle Willie? Hey, man, listen. That's okay. Hey, well, listen, you ain't missing. We've been having it on Mondays. We've been sipping on Mondays, not Sundays, but we will be on this Sunday, sipping on Sundays. Me and your homeboy, Zoe, Jackson, Mississippi's finest, talking all about Jackson, Mississippi, and everything in between. Sipping on Sundays, Zoe Phillips, myself. Tonight, though, I got my man, Big Herb, HBCU Hoops Weekly, doing a little bit of watch party, trying to watch it a little bit. We had a game on, but they would letting us know in the background, better watch it. So Herb has been gracious enough to talk us through the game as you have it on.
Yeah,
it's
man.
on True TV. Howard 66-56, 13 minutes left. I'm a little bit ahead maybe of everybody, but that's where we're at right now live. And we got Herb breaking it down, man. We've talked about the Howard basketball players.
Yeah.
We've talked about Kenny Blakely. We've talked about some of the players. Daryl Armstrong's son, who's an HBCU legend at Fayetteville State, son plays for UMBC. So we got it all covered, Herb. We got it all covered.
Yeah, man. UMBC just scores on a possession, but geez, it's like it's watching the offense right now. It's like pulling teeth, man. They're really struggling just to get the ball in the lane. It's almost exclusively, breakdown plays and isolation late in the clock. The zone has slowed Howard down a little bit. Cam Gillis saves a turnover. Open shot, missed shot. UMBC is doing a little bit better. UMBC is doing a little bit better on the board.
They've got it under 10 now. We're at 8 points.
Yeah, see. That was a foul. Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those situations. Now they're really, UMBC is focused on really getting ahead of that defense.
Yeah.
The last 2 possessions, they've got the rebound, they've gotten out and really tried to beat the defense down the floor before they've gotten established.
I would like for a coach to get back down inside and do some work.
Yeah.
I think this is when your offense, like they say, always give it to your guy that's hot. Get a basket, see if you can get a foul, get them down there in that mid post and let them go to work.
Yeah. UMBC is doing a little bit, there's a little bit of chess being played here, man. They're switching defenses almost every time down now. It's a matchup zone right here, a little bit of pack line, concept there, and Howard's kind of gone cold a little bit.
Hey, man, it is once again Mr. Campbell. We got Big Herb Seward,
UMBC
HBCU Hoops Weekly on the Off Script channel. Still going to be on the Rocket Middle channel. But tonight, just to let you know, man, we got something special right afterwards. We'll see how long this game goes. But at 9 o'clock sharp, we have Van Malone, Hampton Pirates head coach, former University of Texas star, NFL star. And now he's the new coach at Hampton. And see if he can bring some of that magic that he did down there in Texas when he was a player over to the Hampton Pirates. They are where they at, Herb, the CAA, not the CIAA. The CAA, and see if they can make some noise. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll have him at, like I said, at the top of the hour, like I say, hang out with your boys and everything. We appreciate Herb doing everything he can to talk about this game, man. Like I say, and we'll see if Herb has time tomorrow, man, because Herb, if you do have time tomorrow, you know who plays tomorrow.
Well, you know what? I'm here, man. Just
we got to do prayer review. Because we don't do prayer review, they'll be like, y'all hating. Y'all didn't want to talk about us. What about us? We the swag champion. But I'm going to say something to my Southern folks. I'm going to be honest with you. Jack State ain't mad. FAMU ain't mad. Grambling ain't mad. I'm going to tell you, wait, hold on, her. The people that really is upset, that's some Southern Jaguars. Because I'm going to tell you who done made them look bad. It's them Prairie View Panthers. They beat them in the West. They beat them for homecoming, and they beat them boys in the SWAC basketball tournament. I'm just letting you know, that's who's upset. That's who's upset.
Man, let me tell y'all something, man. While we have an opportunity at a commercial break, even though we're talking about the big dance right now, I'd be remiss not to give a shout out to the performance of HBCUs in the Division II tournament, man. The CIAA in particular, man. I'll just say this, man. The job that Virginia Union, Fayetteville State, and Virginia State did this year, Virginia State didn't make the big dance. CIAA's back, bro. That entire conference from top to bottom was super competitive. Like I said earlier with our D1 counterparts, they have a really good core of coaches in the CIAA on the men's and women's side. Winston-Salem State women, man, look, I'll be the first one to tell you, y'all got robbed against IUP. IUP. If anybody watched that game, they lost on a last-second buzzer beater shot where there were 2 consecutive phantom fouls called on Winston-Salem State. Winston-Salem State was up by 3 with like less than 20 seconds left, and essentially came down to 2 fouls that extended the game by 2 possessions, and the young lady from IUP hit the dagger 3, right. And Winston-Salem missed a free throw line mid-range shot at the buzzer. So shouts out to you guys. They're gonna that squad for Winston-Salem on the women's side, they're gonna be back. Most of that squad is freshmen and sophomores. So if they can keep them in the mix, they're gonna be nasty next year. Like national championship contender nasty. Game's back on. Howard's moving the rock. That they had a stagnant, offensive possession. They turned the ball over. Okoji's out of the game. I think Okoji's in foul trouble.
Let's see. I'll get your stats up right now, Herb. Get it for everybody. Give me a second. I got it up.
Yeah. Now, as I watched, quick hands. Cam Gillis with the steal, forces the turnover and the foul. Tell you, man, look, Howard's pressure is having.
He's got 4 fouls. See?
Yeah, Koji's got 4 fouls.
He's the only one really well, and Taylor has 3.
Yeah, Taylor has 3.
To look at.
It's definitely something to look at. Now, what I will say, in terms of foul problems, Cotton with another 3. He drills it. He's heating up. That's that kid again, Mr. Cotton. he's been playing that 6-man role the entire year, coming off the bench, taking open looks and hitting threes. He's one of the best three-point shooting folks on the team. Oh wow, that was a heck of a shot by the UMBC point guard on Cotton. He's going to go to the line, see if he can convert. I think Cotton's going to figure down the road. He's hit 2 in a row. They're going to start getting that dude open looks, man. That's another guy. If he gets it hot and gets it rolling, man, look out. He can really fill it up. Cougar Downing. Wow, I'm not going to even get into that name.
I think he's missed his last 3 shots.
Yeah, he has. But thing with Taylor, again, even though he hasn't been, efficient offensively, he's done all the other things, man. And that's one of the things that's why he's been so valuable for Howard this year, is that, there's ISO for Bryce Harris. He gets in the lane. Cam Gillis.
Need
Taylor
this
with
right
the
here.
Shot. Nah, he missed it. Yeah, he's really struggling with his outside shot.
Again, UMBC, who's won the last 12 games, they were 1.5 point favorite. They're making a run right here.
They're making a run, man. They're, like I said, UMBC is not there for show, man. They're no joke. Another 3. Oh man, he was short with that one. That was an open look. I think you might see, if there's a score here, you might see Kenny Blake and call TO.
And I would. I think they're a little bit tired. I think they got to reset. And I think I think what he really needs to do is get an offensive play and say, hey, you know what? Here's our best offensive play. Let's get 2 to stop this run right here.
Yeah. Okay.
So now we're down 6.
Yeah, he missed the dunk.
Another shot at the free throw line.
Right. Yeah, and see, this is what I was talking about.
And the coach is back in.
Yeah,
with 4 fouls at the 9:51. That now I don't know about that. That shows a little bit of nervousness right there.
You know what? I think I understand the logic behind it. And I think that shows a lot of trust too in your player, because a lot of times, especially when you're trying to stem momentum, you want to get your offensive options that have been really effective on the floor. But I think Okoji's twofold, because he's done it on the
Big
glass.
3.
Yeah, he's done it on the glass.
By your boy Harris,
the
senior.
So yeah, man, and see that I kind of specified that, before we started coverage for the game, man. Both of these teams are battle tested, and the experience of Howard University is going to, they're not shying away from the moment. And like I said, I just saw that Harris 3. That's huge. That is huge. And that gets them back into their token pressure, slows UMBC down, forces them to go against that half court defense, man. That was a huge shot. Huge shot. Now, that was a good post move against Harris, man. That was a good hook.
You're gonna see a bad turnover here by Howard.
Oh yeah, man. That was you can't do that, man. Just can't. Yeah. See, that's a pet peeve of mine, man. If you commit to getting into the lane.
Closest game has been 72-67 at the 8-minute mark.
Yeah, man. Is that I'm supposed? Are they going to immediate? Yeah, 72-67. They must hit the 2. Is that at a? There isn't an immediate timeout coming up, is it?
No, it should be after the 8-minute mark. The next dead ball should do it.
Yeah, that 2-minute. Yeah, this is what I was kind of looking at when it comes to UMBC. When the play breaks down, particularly when they get the opportunity to really get downhill and to have that trio of guards really attack, they can be really problematic.
That's what it is. An 8 timeout, I think. Yep. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. Wow, that was a lot of contact on that play, man. This is turning into a really good game, man. But then again, I thought, we knew it was going to be pretty close. And he's absolutely right. This is media timeout. Yeah, man. Look, for the folks in the chat, that got questions, man, shoot them to me, man. Because this game is really developing into a really good one. I've been really impressed with Howard. I've been really impressed with Howard to this point. They're getting a run from UMBC right now, but the job they've done on both ends of the floor, really limiting these guys, has been really, really effective. This media, yeah, I agree, DW, man. They really could have. But for the most part, man, I think the refs have, called a pretty clean game both ways. I'm not gonna sit here and lament over calls either way. Both squads have really been clean in the way they played defense the whole game. I can't really complain about that. I think the one thing that we're really going to have to look out for, I think this media timeout was needed for Howard. I think Blakeney is going to really make use of this timeout. They've been consistent. I think Blakeney's going to really make use of this timeout. He's done an effective job to this point in the game, really utilizing his timeouts, the breaks in the game to really, get his kids to really lock in terms of the details of what they do defensively. And, this is going to be, this is money time, man. This is what tournament basketball is all about. Down the stretch, what it's like under 8 minutes.
Yes, sir.
And
let's get those stats up. Yeah, why you go ahead, Herb.
Yeah, it's that attention to detail and how you execute that's going to make the difference. All those tendencies that we talk about in game previews and at the beginning of the game before the game starts, that's what we're talking about. It's that ability to really scout, teams' tendencies to play effective defense and be detail oriented in the defense that you play. And I'll be honest with you, man. For the most part of the game, Howard has done an exceptional job of that type of attention to detail to what they do defensively. They've extended the press, they've tossed all types of different types of presses, at these guards. Even in half-court situations, they've extended the defense out. They've tossed in a little zone here and there, a little matchup here and there, but for the most part, it's been straight man-to-man, guard to pick and roll. They've been really.
You're gonna like what I just saw in a few seconds. It's gonna come up.
Uh-oh.
There go Mama. There goes that man again.
Was that Harris or Cotton? Yeah, man. So, but I think that's the other thing too, man. As good as this UMBC squad is, and like I said, UMBC's won 12 in a row, coming into this game. Howard's on a win streak of their own. Yeah, that's a Koji 3-point play. This is what I've been talking about, man. They've been really consistent about how they attack the UMBC defense in half court sets.
Needed that.
They've done the job in terms of attacking when they had off the dribble, when they have the advantage to attack. And UMBC, I'm really surprised that they haven't really junked the defense up a little bit more to prevent that. They're going straight man to man, and they've been. I'll be honest with you, man. They've been barbecue chicken for the majority of the game. Man to man defense. They haven't been able to stop dribble drive penetration for the majority of the game, and it's telling because. Oh, that's not a good. We lucked out. That was an open three, man. We could have drilled that. That's a very rare open look that Howard's given up. We're looking at this. Koji's got the ball. Ball movement's really good. Good pass. Back out. He takes another three. Still running really sure. Offensive rebound. Cam Gillis gets it back, and they reset the offense. Oh, turnover. Yeah, Taylor's really forcing it right now. I can sense he's getting a little frustrated. But
great defense that you about to see by my guy Cam Gillis.
Yeah, man, Gillis is ridiculous, dude. His hand, he's got.
And this was big when you see it. He drew a charge that was a momentum because, like I say, coach went down, missed the shot. They had basically a 3-on-2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Koji misses the shot. Cam Gillis. Yeah, man. He was definitely outside the circle too. That was good. That was good stuff. Yeah, game-changing plays, man. Game-changing plays. Yeah, he saw that coming, man. I'm surprised, and that's the other thing too. A lot of times
when we needed that.
Yeah, a lot of times when we see in a game, when the offensive players come downhill like that, we're starting to see. Ooh, that was a really, really dumb foul. That was really dumb foul. By King. He didn't need that foul. He wasn't
in 6 minutes, 74-67. Howard with the lead. UMBC with the ball, and no, about to stop. Almost had 2. Howard with the rebound, and here they go again, running.
Yeah, man.
Taylor finally got him one.
Yeah, well needed. Well needed.
Shout out to the White Howard alums in the stands.
Yeah. Hey, you turn to True TV. That's what the first 4 is on. True Television.
You're coming in at the right time. True TV.
Oh man, that was a big miss.
Oh, get on the floor.
Taylor hits the 3.
Don't get your 5th. Oof.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm a little behind. I just saw the Taylor 3.
Oof.
Oh man, that was big. That was big turnover right there.
Another foul. Wow, foul on the at the line.
Yeah, man. I told you. Like I said,
Howard has pushed it back up to 10.
Yeah.
At the 5-minute mark.
Yes, hey you. That is definitely a TV channel. That is definitely a TV channel, man. That is in your cable package. So yeah. Yeah, they are. They are. But if you watch Howard during the course of the year, man, that this is the time of the game that they really, extend pressure and they really turn pressure up. This is where they can be really, really, really disruptive. So I'm not surprised. I know I'm a little bit behind, but Howard has stretched the lead out to 11.
They're up 12 now under the 5-minute mark.
Yeah, man. I think the one thing about this Howard squad, man, they got,
and they diving on the ball. That's what I'm talking about, Howard.
Yeah, they got killer instinct, dude. They're gonna finish. They finish games like this out.
Ooh. They tried to do that loop on them.
Now looking at that graphic, I'll say this, even though this game is not in the bag by a long shot, if they face up against Michigan, anybody that's seen Michigan this year, man, they are a handful. Jesus.
Now you're talking about a team before they lost to Duke, they were potentially going to be the number 1 seed in the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Koji with the blown bunny.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, DW, that would have brought the you listen.
Yeah, that would have brought the house down. Yeah, he blew that bunny, man.
Hey man, shout out to Dayton, Ohio, always supporting that first 4 game, man. You know what? When like I say, it's Dayton, Ohio, first of all, but I got to give them credit. They show up and show out for that first 4 game.
Oh, I see you, DW. I'm a Michigan alum. Yeah, I agree because I think the guards are the weak point for Michigan, man. It's just I think if we're looking at a potential matchup between Howard and Michigan, it's going to be really, really imperative for Howard to switch and not really turn this into a half court isolation game where they can just dump it down to the post with Lindenberg and that miracle center that y'all got, man. Jeez, that dude, that Marr kid, man, that he's a problem.
Under
He's
the
a real
4-minute
problem.
mark. 72-79, big three.
Yeah, man. Man, I got to say this, man. Cam Gillis has played an excellent floor game. An excellent floor game. That was a good defensive play by UMBC. No cap. Oh man. And that's another thing, man.
There you go. There goes that man, the floor general.
Yeah, man. Valentine hit a big shot too. I'm a little bit behind.
Under three. Oh, so timeout. 4 minutes.
Yeah, man. Valentine hit a big shot too. Now, I'll say this about Howard University's defense in the second half. They've done a really, really good job on Valentine and Armstrong. Because anybody that's seen those guys in the last couple of games, they've been stupid offensively, man. They've just really gone off. Cam Gillis, big shot. I just saw the big shot. That was clutch. Yeah. That was clutch. And he talking that talk too. Yeah, man. I think DW, man, look, yeah, Marr's a problem, man. That dude's a matchup nightmare for anybody. Anybody that faces Michigan, man, don't let the anomaly of the Big Ten tournament final fool you, because I'm not sold on Purdue. I never am. Purdue is just something about Matt Painter, man. I just don't, and that's no knock on Painter, man, but his squads melt, in tournament time. They melt like ice cream. And it's consistent every year. Once they'll get to the Sweet 16, or they'll get to as far as the Elite Eight. The last time they didn't do that was with Zach Edey. But anybody that knew, Zach Edey's look. Young Eeyore was like 7'5" and
yeah.
Geez, I can't even look. That's Zach Edey's was just that's like watching the Addams Family on the floor that had skills. It's just
as somebody that goes back to Purdue and watched Purdue play for a long time, that goes back to Gene Katie. They would have them bomb squads, and like I say, Glenn Big Dog Robinson and Grant Hill put him in the bucket to really show why he should have been the first pick in that draft. They've had bomb squads and stuff like that, and they just, when they get to the tournament, they just don't complete it.
Oh man, let me tell you, Zach. Yeah, look, A Cup is a bucket, man. That dude. Look, I know. On HBCU Nightly, we had a debate on a while back about who's going to be the number one pick, coming out of college this year. I think A Cup is that kid if he decides to come out. If he can, he's just, that guy's been lights out. I know we talking about DeBansa and Caleb Wilson and this is a really, really talented class all the way around. But man, A Cup is just different.
Listen, I know y'all listen, boy. I'm gonna tell you the guy. He's 6'9", play all three positions. AJ DeBonza. I'm telling you, if they don't draft AJ DeBonza is the best player in that class.
Yeah, I like AJ DeBonza in terms of his potential, man. But I'm just talking off of production and what he's done. A Cup, man, just what he's done in the last 3 months of the season. Jesus Christ! What he did, in the SEC tournament. And you're talking about a league that's chock full of NBA talent, first round talent. You know what I'm saying? You got Nate Ammon over there at Tennessee. He's gonna go top 10. You know,
Now
you
wait
know
a minute.
what?
Now, Big 12's got a first round pick.
Yeah.
Kansas got the number 1 pick. Houston got their point guard that's going to be a first rounder.
Yeah, that point guard for Houston is a
so the Big 12 definitely probably is the most talented conference.
Yeah,
most teams.
Now look at this. Now look at the scoring graphic. 4 players in double figures for Howard. You know, man, look, the balance scoring is there.
About to go to the 2-minute mark. 83-72. Howard up.
Yeah, and
They
Taylor
gonna need this. He got smart move.
Yeah, Taylor's starting to assert himself too.
And a timeout under the 2-minute mark.
Yeah, 83-72, man. And Howard extends the pressure yet again. Different type of press this time. This is what I'm talking about. You know, this is, you know, when you want to sap the will or the you know the will of a team down the stretch, and you know they're tired, and you know that they've already had difficulty getting into stuff offensively, you extend pressure. And Howard has done an excellent job of that, of forcing them to scramble, forcing them to get out of their offensive sets. It's really been uncanny in terms of the way we've seen them execute down the stretch and forcing this squad to do what they want them to do. Now, to UMBC's credit, they're improvising really well, and that's what's keeping them in the game. But you know, from an offensive, from a defensive, you know, game plan standpoint, you know, Kenny Blakeney's coached a one hell of a game. You know, it's been flawless. You know, and that, like I said, you know, that goes back to what I said earlier about that core coaches in the MEAC, man.
Right.
You know, the core coaches I've talked about, Eric Martin, you know, Robert Jones Jr., and Kenny Blakeney, Lavelle Moten. Depending on the night you're talking about, Kenny, you know, Kevin Broadus. Although the Morgan State folks that are on the feed are gonna, you know, they kind of punch in the air because he's still there. But, dude, you know, the MEAC has got some underrated coaches, and the fact that each of these institutions has done an excellent job of keeping these coaches, you know, retaining these coaches and keeping these staffs in the fold, you know, for the most part. I know, you know, Norfolk State had, you know, a big loss with the previous coach that they had.
Yeah.
I'm almost afraid of seeing what I just saw. I don't know. You know, I'm gonna have to wait and see it. What did they cut? What did they cut the score down to?
No, it was a foul. They had a nice trap, and he slapped him in the face for no reason. All he had to do was hold his hands up. He had him trapped.
Oh, damn.
That's what people gotta understand. Just hold your hands up. And again, as they say, make a wall. You don't have to slap down the ball. There's no need. You had it right there. Just don't reach. Just
that was
didn't do. Now, who did they call it on? Though, the question.
They didn't call it. I don't think they called it on the Koji. I hope not.
Harris got 4. See, you know what I'm saying? Just hold your hands up. That's all you got to do. Now,
oh, they got away with it. That was really on the coach.
Come on, man. What are we talking about here?
Yeah. Well.
Oh, come on. Possible flagrant 1. Are you kidding me?
That was a flagrant?
That's what they're saying. They're looking at for possible flagrant 1.
Come on, dude. That wasn't no damn flagrant, man. They going for the ball.
Hey, man, shout out to everybody that's watching on the Off Script channel, man. It is your man, Mr. Campbell, Hbcu, Hbcu Hoops Weekly, man. We have had a good time. Herb, I really appreciate it, man. We're down under 2 minutes, man. Great watch party. Had a lot of people checking in, man. Gave us a lot of good information, man. This has been great. And guess what? The team we root for is on the right side as of right now. Minute 13, they can go ahead and punch their ticket up there to play the University of Michigan and those Wolverines and earn
Michigan
and earn $1 million.
Yeah, man. Look, like I said, let's bring home that cash, man. It's barbecue chicken. Let's bring that scratch home. We need that cheese. You know, as they say in the wire, man. You know, cheese for the cheese. We need that cheese home.
Ooh, that boy got them big old kilos on his there. Yeesh. I was like, what is that, boy? Jeez. Got them. Golly.
Yeah, they called it a common play, right?
Yeah, they did. Common foul.
right.
Yep.
I was about to say, all right, man, don't start no funny business, man. But yeah, I mean, while we're kind of in the lull here, man, I think that I had started talking about, the D2 performances on the men's and women's side. We still got another HBCU at the NAIA level in direct competition for a national championship in the Elite Eight, and that's Langston men's basketball.
Okay.
Man,
Is Langston still, and I hate to say this, but not being fun, does Langston still have that white guy as the coach down there?
yes, sir, Chris Wright.
That was one of the guys before Crary. That was the guy I thought that family was going to go out there and bring in. I thought that would have been a really good fit, but of course, other people had their own ideas, and then it worked out for us to get the Charlie Ward Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah. Howard, okay, UMBC is extending the pressure. Good decision to bring that ball out in no clock. Good decision. Forcing UMBC to foul. 1:03 left. Now, this is the first time in the game that we've seen UMBC really, really extend pressure.
Yeah.
But I don't know how effective that's going to be at this point of the game, simply because, man, Howard's been wearing them down. Taylor just fouled out.
Yep, he did.
Wow.
53.4 seconds. UMBC is at the line. 83-76.
Taylor fouled out. He reached. Don't reach. Just go vertical, man. Number 11 Diggs, has been, really, really big for UMBC, man. I can't even front. That dude has been a problem. He's gotten in the lane. He's put real pressure, whenever they've had opportunities to ISO.
Now it's time to hit these free throws. Still got a long time to go.
Gotta hit free throws, man. Gotta hit free throws.
Come on, Howard, hit these free throws. And you run right in perfect time. I can get off right before 9 o'clock before we have Coach Malone come on. And that's right, guys. Right after this, you know what? I keep it going, man. We got Van Malone, the head football coach of the Hampton Pirates. That will be on with me, Rocky, and Coach Cole talking about his journey to becoming the HBCU football coach. So don't go anywhere.
That was a really dumb foul. Nice sportsmanship by Ace Valentine, though. Good stuff, man. Cam Gillis, man, you got to hit these free throws, bro.
Well, you're not going to like because, again, our HBCU lump sum just hit a 3.
Oh, boy.
And we're at 81-83. 43 seconds left.
81-83, man. See, this is what you gotta hit. You gotta hit these, man. You gotta hit bunnies like this, man. That's free money. He comes down, step back. Oh, boy. Kenny called a good timeout. That was a good shot. That's a big shot. But then again, I'm not surprised with Armstrong. They've kept him under wraps for the majority of the game, but you just can't give that guy space. He hits contested shots, and like I said, I've seen a lot of him over the during the course of the year. That dude's a dog, man. In clutch situations and in situations like this is when he hits shots. So you have to really pay attention to detail on your defensive assignments, man. But shots out to Armstrong, that was a huge shot going into the break. The foul calling in this game is that's our resident co-host Erica Rochelle on Twitter. With the Twitter feed, she's like, man, she's not feeling the refs at all. Herb, I just put my keys back in my pocket. Look, man, I never took my keys out because, like I said, I had a chance to see both of these teams. I said, and when I did the Twitter game preview earlier today, I said this game was going to come down to the wire. It's going to be like right around 75 to 70.
Herb, real quick thing: possession arrow favors UMBC right here.
Yeah,
very important at this time of the game. So if you see a trap, you see those guys going for the ball, you know why.
Exactly. Now, attention to detail, man. Attention to detail.
Nine seconds.
There's 9 seconds left, man.
He's waiting way too late. Woo!
Okay. Well, that was almost a double dribble, man. Come on, Cam. Look at the clock. What a big shot by Bryce. Huge shot. Thank you for not spoiling, not for the non-spoiler, Mr. Campbell. Man, Harris is insane, man. Yep, you're right, Zach. Harris is insane. Big bucket. Clutch.
Howard looking for their first ever NCAA tournament victory. It's Harris. 2 on the shot clock. Harris has to put it up. Oh,
Clutch.
what a shot.
Insane shot, man.
Just had to throw that up there real quick. See if I can sneak it in there.
Man, don't blow us up, dude. Don't blow up the channel, dude.
I hit a yacht.
Man, you know how
20 seconds.
Trying to zap us, man.
I tell you, let's go, boy. I just had the folks had to see it on our stream, though. Just had to see it on our stream.
I tell you what, Howard wins this game. Rest assured, we're gonna see an out of conference game between UMBC and Howard, dude.
Well, they played in 2024.
Yeah.
So Howard, and they played 3 times. Howard 2-1 in that, and it would make sense. It would make sense.
Yeah, man. But I mean, I'll be like I said. I think, you know, while we're waiting on the break, while waiting for them play to resume, I think that's a really, really big scheduling type of strategy that benefits HBCUs. It's a schedule.
Let go straight to the basket.
That was a big shot, man. Huge shot.
Good Lord, they almost got a 5-second count.
Yeah,
almost got a 5-second count. 8:52. Come on, guys! I got a show to do at top of the hour.
Man,
I'll be out right now. I'm just teasing. Like, so we're good.
OT.
Right.
OT.
You know.
Oh wow, that was a huge shot. That was a huge shot.
And you know what, KK, we're going to talk about all the NIT games, the women NIT. We talked about that. Herb we touched on that. We're definitely going to give shout outs to those Lady Braves and also to Alabama A&M, those Lady Bulldogs playing in the WNIT. We're definitely going to talk about that.
Yeah, man. You know, shout out to every HBCU program, men's and women's, that, you know, What? Man, don't tell me something stupid happened, please. I'm seeing that look on your face, man. That ain't good.
No, it doesn't happen yet. They still a timeout.
About to say, come on, man, don't do this.
No, they still at a timeout. Band's playing. 83-85, 7.5 seconds left. Howard with the ball. Possession arrow with UMBC.
Yeah.
Both teams are in the bonus.
Now, when I talk about, you know, attention to detail in game-ending situations, these are situations I'm talking about. Inbound situation, single-digit seconds. How you execute a play is huge, you know, and, you know, this is what you have practices for. This is the repetition that you go through. And, you know, and the fact of the matter is that Howard University's HU's program, man, you know, they've been solid in these types of situations all year. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. 6.6 seconds. They call another timeout to review. So inbound play, you're probably ahead of me.
Got it. It's a 1-and-1.
A 1-and-1.
No, there you go. First one down.
Yeah,
This is the
man.
most important one right here.
Yeah, man. This free throw
game's over.
Yeah, this free throw shooting's been down the stretch been kind of shaky, but I'm really happy. And this is what I'm talking about Howard's depth because
No, he missed.
He missed. Oh, bro.
You'll see it. Ah,
he hit the three.
Game. Woo!
Oh boy. of course. Now I'm gonna have to. I don't have to sweat through the last couple of seconds here. Thanks, Mr. Campbell. Appreciate it.
Now, Howard Bison. Herb called it. Herb tried to tell you, man, listen, man, let me tell you something. Sipping on Sundays on a Monday. We had my man Herb here. And Herb, what did you say was going to win this game last night?
I said HU was going to win it, man. I said HU was going to win it.
That's why you got to watch the shows. That's why we have Herb on. That's why Herb tried to tell you who are the players that you need to watch, because I'm going to pull this up before we get up out of here. Because, Herb, we got to just really quick just hit these stats real quick. Because, Herb, you talked about some players to watch, and guess what? Those are all the guys that made the plays to win the game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
Real quick here.
You look at that. You look at that box score, man. That box score for Howard is ridiculous. In terms of just the stats from the starting five. Travell Bryson, I thought was really huge off the bench. Alex Cotton was huge in spots off the bench, hitting timely threes. Cam Gillis, for the most part, played one heck of a floor game. He's a little shaky at the free throw line, but you know what? He ain't turned the ball over. I'm good. I mean,
right.
Know what I mean? So I'm not, Isaiah Brown comes in and hits a clutch free throw. But, let's look at the stat line. Okogie has a monster game, 23 points. Bryce Harris follows up, consistent performance, 19. Cedric Taylor had 16 points, before fouling out. He had a rough shooting night from beyond the arc, but he just did so many other things, man. 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, generated, I think it's 3 turnovers. How many, if he, I don't see the forced turnover stat, but he did a really effective job defensively, rotating 1 through 3. Dude, like I said, dude has been lights out, the whole season defensively. Dude is, he was defensive player of the defensive player of the year in the MEAC for a reason. Bryce Harris, that 19 points, man, that huge shot down the stretch on the block, bully ball, Bison Bullies. Thanks, Liv, for the nickname for the Bison Bullies. That was Bison Bully ball right there on the block for that shot. And I would be remiss too, man, just to give a big shout out to UMBC. You don't. Again, you don't often see matchups like this in the first 4 from 2 area teams. It was a great game, man, and I'm really, obviously I'm happy the Bison advanced, but this is a really, really good game. This is a really good result, but in my opinion, it was an expected result from Howard. I think, this squad, has been really battle tested the whole year, and it kind of proved it tonight. The coaching job that Kenny Blakeney did tonight was superb. I think there were times where he really, really outcoached his opponent, and that's not a knock on UMBC's coach. I think UMBC's coach, made adjustments the way that he was supposed to. But the job and attention to detail that Howard exhibited defensively, man, with the pressure, how to use the pressure, when to use the pressure, using it in different situations, forcing those guys to really struggle to initiate half-court offense was huge. UMBC made some adjustments in the second half. The Diggs kid for UMBC was really, really lights out. They saw them on pick and roll situations and ISO situations with him, and they really took advantage with him. I think he carried them offensively in the second half. So big shout out to them, man. I'm happy. This is the result we want, baby. Bringing that CEU credit home to the MEAC. That's money. That's cash. and scratch.
Well,
You know,
well, guys, listen, we're going to wrap it up. Listen, man, I want to thank my boy Herb once again, man, coming through, man, talking basketball, HBCU style, Alabama State grad, HBCU Hoops Weekly. Man, listen, tomorrow we're going to work this thing out. I think I should have everything that I can be able to do another watch party with those Prairie View Panthers. Prairie View plays Lehigh. No, that's the women. Who does Prairie View play? Herb.
Prairie View plays Lehigh.
Lehigh. Okay, Prairie View does play Lehigh. And they should be favored in that game. So, man, listen, we'll be right back here. Herb, like I said, real quick, what you got before we shut it down?
Yeah, man. I did a game preview for this game earlier this morning. Stay tuned for another game preview tomorrow morning, right around the same time for preview. And Lehigh on my Twitter feed at HBCUHW. Man, look, thank you, man. I first off, man, I really appreciate the opportunity to just talk the game of basketball with people that enjoy HBCU basketball. So, this is a blessing for me. Thank you. I think tomorrow's game is going to be just as compelling as this one.
I believe so too.
Yeah, because anybody that didn't get a chance to see PV during the tournament, they're rounding out the form at just the right time, just like Alabama State did last year. And they have just as much of an opportunity to pull off a win against the Lehigh squad that are, again, both squads are very evenly matched. Both kind of have similar paths to get to the first four, where they caught fire at the right time, and made it through their conference tournaments to get here. So, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that matchup too. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to spend the rest of my night watching basketball because you got NIT, women's NIT, and the rest of the first four. So I'm about to, after I get off here, I'm about to pour me some libations and watch more.
I know you got to play the food with you. Play the food. And that
play got the wings.
Well,
wings in the mambo sauce.
Hey, man, but listen, hey, man, guess what? I don't stop, bro. I'm working, man. So guess what? Hey, man, click off right over here. Click right back on the Off Script channel and on the Rocky Miller channel, HBCU Coaches Corner. We got Van Malone, Hampton Pirate, Coach. So, man, listen, just keep it going, man. Support your boys, man. Keep the clocks rolling and stuff like that. And, man, listen, Herb, me and Herb will probably see you guys tomorrow, same time, 6:30. I'll have everything set up. And, man, and Prairie View people, come on in. We're going to let y'all run the show tomorrow. We're going to let y'all host.
And, yeah, man, whatever y'all do, man, follow me on my Twitter feed at HBCUHW. That's HBCUHW, the acronym for HBCUs Weekly. I cover everything from game previews to news and HBCU, basketball, Division I, Division II, the NAIA level. I also cover the recruiting portal. Cover Liv for Hoops. Liv Antilla, she's a Florida A&M grad. She's been knocking it out the park. Also in the HBCU basketball space, man. Follow her. I can't emphasize this enough, man. The more coverage we get, the more visibility we get, the more we're going to put, our basketball product in the best light possible. So, yeah, any support that you guys can offer, man, I'm, blessings, man. Seriously.
There it is. So for my man Herb, HBCU Hoops Weekly, Mr. Campbell, man, we're signing off. And, man, let's, like I say, come on right on back. HBCU Coaches Corner is next. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.